moving towards conflict, okay, live stream, got it, okay. Now suddenly a minute it will stop. As you move forward, I think when you reach the level of moderate intensity of conflict, we use the word appropriate conflict, then your performance goes to a very high level. Now, from there, when you go beyond these things, I think when conflicts becomes too much, and I can tell you, your performance levels or the outcomes, they will come down. This happens in our personal life. This happens even in organizational life. Therefore, what we consider a little bit of conflict, a moderate level of conflict is always good. That is what we have started accepting. Okay. Now, this is one of the important things all of us need to learn. Tell me, don't you think even in our personal life, sometimes we enjoy a little bit of conflict? A little bit of, don't you enjoy? A little bit of conflict, all of us enjoy. But when it becomes too much, you get into problem. Therefore, what we tell people, there is a relationship between the intensity of conflict and also the performance. It may look very simple, very small. Lot of research work has gone into it, and a lot of things you can learn. I think as you move in your personal life, let me tell you, this will remind you several things. No conflict, your outcomes will be less. Too much conflict, I think it leads to a lot of stress, but we talk about burnout and other things. And a moderate level conflict we consider as good. Now, what are the antecedents of conflicts? Why these conflicts they come? The personalities, the value systems are different. You can see the picture. You can see the faces. Personalities, incompatible personalities and value systems are different. Now, what is good, what is bad, I'm not talking. We have different value systems. Overlapping, unclear job boundaries, where your job ends and where my job begins, sometimes we don't have clarity. Competition for limited resources. It could be anything. It could be printer, it could be computer, it could be finances, it could be anything. Then interdepartment, intergroup competition. We think our department is the best department and we contribute a lot to the organizations. Others, they just enjoy. People, we have got different kinds of views about our departments. Then sometimes communication. When I talk about communication, I'm not talking about language only. Language only. There are several things. Some people, they communicate too much. Some people, they communicate too less. Some people, they communicate, I can tell you, they don't communicate. We had a professor, I think in his subject, what he was doing, there was a professor who was not giving any references. He was not communicating, and we had a problem. And there was another professor, the moment he starts lecture, he'll be going on giving references, very difficult for us to refer. That is also a problem. So there I say, communication inadequate, inappropriate. Then we have got interdependent tasks. The organizations have become too complex, where your organization ends, we do not know. Then we have got unreasonable, unclear policies, standard rules. I think those who are working and during performance evaluation season, during promotion season, I think in organization, I'm talking about standard organizations, people, they expect these things. Then unreasonable deadlines or extreme time pressures. By tomorrow morning, things have to be done. They talk whatever comes to their mind. Collective design making, decision making. Many times people, they talk about collective, we have to do it, but they expect that their voice should prevail. They talk about consensus, but not consensus. Only by a few people that decide, by a few people voice should prevail. Just start think over these things. Are they not real? Unmet expectations, then unresolved and suppressed conflict. All these things, they will result in conflict in the organization. Friends, I did not tell you what is conflict. Without telling what is conflict, I am going on talking about conflict. But let me start with a small, you call definition or small concept. What is conflict? When one party perceives, this word is very important, perceives. It is not reality I am talking. One party perceives interests are being opposed or set back by another party. Just think, this word perceives. Many times I think that you are against me. Reality, it is not like that. You can see n number of movies, n number of instances. Our problem is because of wrong perception that my interests are being opposed or set back by another party, then the conflict emerges. Then the second thing that I talk about, a breakdown in the standard mechanism of decision making. So you have people, two people this side, two people the other side. There's a decision-making people that they have taken sides. There's a deadlock management. A deadlock management means they're unable to take any stand or decision. That kind of situation, we call it as a conflict. Then a few more things we will see. An organization conflict. It is a disagreement between two or more organizational members or groups. It arises from the fact that they must share, number one, resources. I think because of sharing scarce resources, people they fight, countries they fight, states they fight. You have to share the resources. Resources could be anything. You have to share work activities in the organization. People, they say everything you're dumping on me only. Then, and also from the fact that we have different stages, different goals, different values regarding life, and also different perception. Because of these things, organization conflicts, they arise. It is an express struggle between at least two interdependent parties who pursued incompatible goals, scarce rewards, interference from the other party in achieving their goals. They are in a position of opposition in conjunction with the cooperation. Then this is Robbins. It's also a beautiful definition. It's a process. Conflict is a process. This process starts when one party perceives, when one party starts thinking that another party has negatively affected it or is about to negatively affected or some or that is negatively affect something that the first party cares about. I think something is repeated. I'm sorry. So one party thinks the other party is coming in its way. When you start thinking, conflict starts very simple. It's a process. Now, this conflict occurs between two or more parties. Of course, among these two, when we say two or more parties, many times we think there should be two persons for you to get into this conflict. But we tell people sometimes within you there could be conflict. To do or not to do, to accept or not accept, conflict will be there. Then this conflict arises out of two different perceptions, two different way of perceiving things. 6 can be written like 9 also. From which side you perceive that 9 number, that tells whether that is 9 or 6. And this conflict refers to a deliberate behavior. It can exist either at latent level or overt level. It can be within, it can come out also. Remember, conflict is different from competition. In competition, both of you are competing, but you are not coming in the way. Whereas in conflict, you are coming in the way of other person. When you come in the way, or at least you give them a feeling that you are coming in the way of other person, conflict arises. Do you think conflict is always bad? Just do you think conflict is always bad? No. As I told you, a little bit of conflict is always good and it helps you a lot. There are positive aspects of conflict. I use a word for these positive aspects of conflict, functional conflict. Now, what is the conflict? Many times we think that you are against me and I think you are against me and you think that I'm against you. But in fact, it may not be so. Therefore, when you have this conflict, when you resolve this conflict, I think lot of tension will be released. You will have good feeling. So therefore, sometimes what we tell people, little bit of conflict is good. And when you have a conflict, maybe you start, see, conflict arises because of scarce resources sometimes. When the resources, they become scarce, you start thinking in new ways to overcome the problem. So we tell people conflict leads to a sort of creativity also. Then when you have conflict, it makes you to change. Sometimes change leads to conflict. The other way also is sometimes conflicts also they may lead to change. It makes you to change because you see the conflict that are around you. You start introspection and other things. You may change also. When you have conflict with the other party, you start analyzing your group, yourself, and other things. You start identifying your own weaknesses. What are my weaknesses so that I can overcome these problems? Then, when there is a conflict, I know about, I think the other day somebody was talking about Kargil War and other things. When they had Kargil War, irrespective of their religion, of course, people say don't use that word war. Somebody entered into your house, you need to drive them out. Very simple. That is what they have done. That's what they are telling. Don't call it war. And they have encroached into your place. You have to drive them out. So we did not wage war. They came. So what to do? And you become one. You become very cohesive. When there's a conflict, you try to challenge the other group. Also, you become one. As I told you, conflict is because of wrong perceptions also. So when you sit down and when you start discussing, the real issues will come out, and then you start realizing, okay, all these days I was thinking this is the issue. This is not the issue. The issue is something else. The real issue will come out. These are the positive aspects of conflict. In the exam, they'll ask you, what are the functional aspects of conflict? I think these are some of the things you can start writing. As I told you, conflict is good, but too much conflict is not good. Conflict has got, I can tell you, even certain dysfunctional aspects. Now, what are the dysfunctional aspects of conflict? A little bit of conflict is always good. But when conflict it becomes too much, people start resigning from the situation. That's bad. A little bit of conflict, okay. But too much conflict is not good. Then, when you have conflict, a lot of tension will be there. Lot of discontentment is there. Your BP will go up. You start distrusting the other party. And when you start distrusting the other party and you reach a situation whom to trust, whom not to trust, you do not know. Trust is good. Once trust is broken, it's very difficult to build the trust. But once trust is broken, I think it's very difficult to join. Somebody said, when you trust a person, two things you will learn. Either if he's good, either you'll get a lifetime friend. If the other person is wrong, that's what you feel. I think you will learn a great lesson in your life. So these are the dysfunctional aspects of creation of distrust. Then there is something known as goal displacement. That goal displacement talks about what is your main work that you have forgotten. From morning till night, I know some of you might be having this kind of experience. That experience is you are going to office and thinking how to rebut or how to give answer to that fellow when he asks this particular question, or when he tries to teach you, or when he tries to blame you, how to answer. Oh my God, day and night, our mind will be working in that direction. Anyone experience this kind of situation? From morning till evening, your thinking is how to answer this group, how to answer this fellow. Your main work has gone. It's known as goal displacement. That is what happens. When goal displacement takes place, your organization becomes very weak. let me tell you, when I talk about organization, do not be under the impression that I'm talking about the place where we are working. Families too. Families too. Wrong perceptions, distrust, goal displacement, tensions, resigning ourselves from the main work or main things. So all these things happen. It could be families, it could be the organization. And your perception is distorted. Distorted. Whatever the other person speaks, you are trying to get a different meaning. Why they are trying to speak in this way? They may not be having that intention, but still you start feeling. It diverts your energy. Your energy is not in performing your work. You're diverting in energy in trying to give wrong meanings to the words what other people they are speaking, because you do not know that you are giving a wrong meaning, but your past experience made you to give the sort of meanings, and your energy is diverted in wrong ways. So these are considered as dysfunctional aspects. As I told you, in the examination, they may likely to ask you a question that is, what are the functional and dysfunctional aspects of conflict? I think you need to write these two slides. Then we can talk about, there are some conflict we talk about all of us face, which all of us are facing. One is approach conflict. An individual must choose among two alternatives. I think this, most of you might be. Two excellent offers from two good companies, two good promotions. Which one to choose? I think in our life also we have this kind of problem. We are getting two best things which you consider. There's a conflict. There's another thing. Two you are getting which you don't like. You got a transfer to two places, both the places you don't like, but you need to go to some place. But the easiest way is when you have got approach and avoidance. One good thing, one bad thing, or one attractive, the other one is not so attractive. When you get in your life, I think that is called approach avoidance conflict. Now, in the exam, they'll ask you one more question. What are the sources of conflict? The source of conflict, the first one is resources. Oh, you can give n number of examples. Most of the wars are waged because of scarce shared resources. I know very well when computers were introduced in the organization, we were competing to have, not only competing, conflicts were there regarding having who will get the first computer, who will get the first printer. Then conflict is for water, conflict is for money, conflict is for good workers. Have you heard this word? Conflict is for a good worker. I heard about a very good teacher, excellent teacher. There are two big institutions, and they said, that person, you have to work in our institution. Both the colleges told that that fellow has to work. And that fellow was unable to decide. You know, the funny part of it, that fellow was beaten up. He was admitted in a hospital. The reason was he was unable to decide where to work, and both the colleges, they wanted him to have. In organization, problem comes for good workers. Try to understand. Lot of conflict will be there. Lot of conflict will be there. Then the conflict is because of our goal systems are different. Our strategies are different. There are people, they want to make quick money within a short span of time. Some people, they are cool, cool, chill, chill, and they are not after money. They are after work. They want a good work, name and all those things. But our goal system is different. Then interdependence of work activities. Where your work stop, my work begins. When that is there, the problem starts. Then difference in values. Your values are different. My values are different. Young people value systems are different. Older people values are systems. Our perceptions are different. Same thing, both of us, we perceive in a different way. And every individual has got a style. Suppose I'm very authoritative, you are submissive, the problem will not come. Oh, I know funny instances that took place because of this individual style. We had one student, and he was authoritative style. He was like Dada. He came to one class and told, uh, tomorrow the freshers party is there, you have to come. The way he told was when we teachers, we were wondering. He told in one class in the same tone. He went to the other class. He was asking people to come in the same tone, asking them to attend a freshers party. In the second class, there was another student with same type of personality, same kind of attitude. And when this boy invited, you have to attend this party, that fellow said, we won't come. See, sometimes the conflict of our personalities, of our styles. Then organizational ambiguity, there is no clarity regarding so many things, regarding work, regarding performance standards. My God, there won't be any clarity. And there is something called show me the person, I will show them, I will show the rule. That means rules and regulations, they change because of the person to whom it is applied. Have you come across this kind of situation? They will change rules based on the person. Then we have, hello, Evaru? The structure of the organization. I think I was talking to you about unity of command. Unity of command. Um, we are expected to receive instruction from one boss. When you start receiving instructions from more than one boss, I think we get into problems, conflicts are bound to be there. Then I spoke about communication. Too much communication, too little communication. People, they speak in a wonderful language, but the other fellow cannot understand. Your language may be good, your language may be very posh, but the what can we do? The other side people cannot appreciate, cannot understand. When you get into that kind of situation, people start giving different meanings to the word that you have used. So it's also an essay question in the examination. You need to write the answer. Hey, this one is something very, very important. What is the process of conflict? What is the process of conflict? These are the 5 stages of conflict. These are the 5 stages of conflict. The stage 1 is potential opposition or incompatibility. I think the first slide I was talking to you about. There are certain antecedents to this conflict. What are these antecedents? New people you have taken. Their profiles are different. Their personalities are different. Their value systems are different. There's sometimes generational, 2 different generations are there. That means there is an antecedent. Then structures. The present day, the way students they are brought up, they are different. Once they enter into organization, organization imposes rules and regulations. Let me share with you. We had one particular course. Earn while you learn. That is a course. In that one, we have taken some students were taken by a company, then they are sent to our organization to study. And the problem that crop up was in our educational institutions, they have started considering themselves as employees. Here the structure is different and people are working in a software industry, their style and structure, they are different. They are considering themselves as employees. And same students, when they are working in the organization, they started feeling that they are students. The problem started. Then the third thing is, as I told you, communication. Too much communication. Today, I know there's a lot of change in youth lingo. Youth lingo. Some of the words when the present day generation, when they use this, we think, hey, what is this word you are using? For us, for people like us, it is an abusive word. But for them, it's a common word. Now, when lingo changes, I think it's an antecedent. So when you have antecedents, we call them as there's a potential opposition or the incompatibility. There is a possibility because of these reasons conflicts to arise. So first thing is there is an incompatibility. From there, the next stage is coming. You are taking into consideration. You have started feeling, it is called cognition and personalization. You perceive, you feel. Both the things are very important. It's not enough that there's an incompatibility, but me has to recognize that incompatibility is there, and me has to feel that because of that, there is a conflict. So that is the second stage. You perceive the conflict and you start feeling the conflict. When you start perceiving the conflict, when you start feeling the conflict, then the third stage comes, what to do. When conflict arises, what shall I do? That is called, what are my intention? How am I going to handle this conflicts? We have intention. From this third stage, I am moving forward. Then again, I may come back to stage 3. I'll take some of these things forward. Now, potential opposition, cognition, intention, behavior, outcome. These are the 5 stages I told you. Now, what are our intentions when conflict arises? All of us face conflict. When conflict arises, what are our intentions? What are we? Are we cooperative regarding work? Are we assertive? Based on this, there are 5 ways that we are intending to handle conflict. I'll show you the other things also. Whatever I told, same thing I'm repeating in a different way. For me, how important is the relationship? How important is the goal? In life, both the things are important. Do you think goal is very important? Or relationship is very important? Same thing, whatever the previous slide I was trying to show you, same thing. It all depends on how much I want to cooperate, how much I want to assert. Now, based on this, if I think for me relations are not so important and goal is also not important, my strategy could be avoid strategy, same thing. If I think when I do not want to cooperate, when I am not assertive, my strategy would be avoiding strategy. From there, On the other hand, if I'm too assertive, not willing to cooperate, my strategy is, my intention is, I want to compete, that's all. No question of compromise. On the other hand, if I want relationships and also reaching goal, or I'll put it, if I want to be cooperative and also assertive, I will go in for collaborating. On the other hand, if I think relationships are the most important, not the goal, then I go in for accommodating, or if I'm high at corporate level, I go for accommodating. On the other hand, via media, we call it as compromising. I think these are the 5 strategies. So uh, I try to present these things in a different way. Same thing, I try to give different words. So my intentions could be avoiding, my intentions could be accommodating, my intentions could be competing, my intentions could be collaborating, or my intention could be uh, compromising. Okay, these are the different ways. Now, when are we getting into competing style? When another conflict management approach has not been successful, when no positive change has occurred after some time, and when you feel pushback from those in conflict, then you go to this competing style. You can remember Mahabharata story, not even, I think, inch or the place that occupies a needle. Then avoid strategy. When you consider using avoiding strategy, when you are still undecided on how to proceed, and when you don't have the resources to devote immediately, when involved parties are experiencing high tension, and when it has caused distraction from team productivity, you get into avoiding style. Then when you get into this compromising style, when you need an immediate solution that may be temporary, when neither party will compromise, when productivity starts to be impaired by the time the conflict is taking, when there is no solution, both will be happy. When you want to promote more team collaboration, you go for this compromising. When you get into this collaborating style, when several people will be impacted by the resolution, when it involves an important relationship, when the interests of all involved parties need to be considered. The last one is when you get into this accommodating style, when you can't come to a resolution, when your peer is more concerned with the conflict than you, when you are mistaken or your peer is more experienced, when your productivity has been affected or negatively by the conflict. When you get into this kind of situation, I think you go in for these strategies. Now, again, I'll come back. As I told you, stage 1 is potential opposition. Stage 2 is perceiving conflict and feeling conflict. Stage 3 talks about what are my intentions of this conflict. Stage 4 is based on my intention, based on my strategies, my behavior will be there. It could be overt conflict, parties' behavior, others' parties' reaction. So how I behave, how others react. Based on behavioral aspect, then it will have impact on the outcome of the organization. The outcome of the organization could be increased group performance or decreased group performance. Okay, these are the different stages of conflicts in the organization. Now, I use the word conflict management strategies. Try to understand. I'm not saying conflict curbing. I have to manage. Why I need to manage? Reason is very simple. the way I need to manage change, I last time I gave you some reasons why I need to bring change in the organization. This time I'm talking about I need to stimulate conflict when there is no conflict. The conflict management strategies talks about generate conflict when there is no conflict. The next thing is when the conflict reaches the peak level, when the conflict reaches such a level which becomes destructive, immediately you should be able to resolve the conflict. Again, I'm reminding you our old Purana stories. Conflict is generated in the ultimate sinna. See, I used to watch these movies a lot. Ramanjanaya Yuddham or Krishna Arjuna Yuddham. You watch these movies? Hello? Can anyone respond?
Yes, sir, we watch.
Oh, you watch. In that one last scene, both of them, I think, Sri Krishna and Arjuna, they'll reach a peak stage, or Sri Ramji and Anjanaya, they reach a peak stage, and then Narada Maharshi will bring all the people, hey, come, stop.
Yes.
And they will tell what are the reasons, what is the real reason, and some good message they try to give. See, here the most important thing is when you generate conflict, when you stimulate conflict, you should have the ability to contain, control that conflict. But if you do not have that ability, you have no right to generate conflict. Am I clear, sir? If you cannot control,
Yes,
if
sir.
you cannot contain, if you cannot resolve, you have no right to generate conflict. We tell people you need to generate conflict and should be able to resolve the conflict. All this happens for the sake, I use the word, Loka Kalyanam. That's the word is more important we need to learn. So I think these are some of the things we need to learn. You should be able to stimulate conflict and resolve conflict. I think I'll stop here because just 3 minutes I have. You need to go to other sessions also. Otherwise, I love to talk on this topic. Thank you so much. Radha Krishna, are you there? Oh, I have many friends, many friends. Problem. Radha Krishna, I am leaving. Is it okay? I think we conduct training programs on conflict management, change management, some of these things.
Sir, one small question. I'm Deepa here.
Yes, Deepa, Amma.
I'm sorry,
Please.
sir. I was engaged with something else. I joined
No
very
problem.
late.
Amma. Even now, you're talking about engage. Now I have to go for engagement. No
One
problem.
small thing, sir. We
Please.
need, I don't know whether you have already provided stress management. One topic material we haven't received from the university.
Oh,
Could you possibly give us something on that? Or if you have already given it,
definitely.
I'll watch
In
the
fact,
video.
Amma, listen. I got I got the bad habit of talking too much. See, you need material on stress management. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. Listen.
University, Ambedkar University material.
Okay. What I'm going to do, change, conflict, then I'm going for the stress management. I'll share that material with you. Is it okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Great,
And
sir.
one more thing. The other day I gave my email ID. So far, I did not receive any.
Sir, you please give me the email ID again, sir.
No. All those who are interested, I can share with you my PPTs.
Oh, please, sir. Please, sir. You give me your email ID, sir. I will note it down clearly. Last time I wrote it wrong.
Okay. Anyway, see, the thing
No,
is,
you give me your email
no.
ID, sir. I'll note it
I'm
down
doing.
correct.
I'm doing
I
right
noted it
now.
wrong. It
Right now,
went
I'm typing.
wrong place.
No, right now, I'm typing. Very simple. You know my name?
Yes, sir. Krishna.
Krishna Kumar.
Krishna Kumar, small K.
Krishna Kumar 1960.
1960. I think I made it 90. Krishna Kumar. Okay.
Krishna Kumar 1960 at the rate of Gmail. You will get my PPTs.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. See, I believe when I share, I think I'll be, when I share and when you start using reading, I think there is some meaning in what I have done.
Yeah, block 5 we are yet to receive. So that is what
I do not know. I'm going to send. Okay.
Block. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right.